So I had watched a lot of videos, just like everyone else, and I had some questions, of course, in the forum on the channel here. And the thing is you really don't know. In this particular case, you really don't know. Even as an MPC user with the previous hardware, of really how something actually is until you actually kick the tires. And so, unfortunately, this is something that I actually had to have in order to understand really what it is about this, if its significance is enough to move on. And and more importantly, we all got different processes. I don't have to really go in depth in that. And we all have different gear that we're trying to fit this into. And so for me, I'm in the unique situation where I don't really have any more gear than what we see here. I mean, I've got like a couple rolling keyboards, but I don't use them for the sounds, and I kind of keep them around as just dedicated controllers for using with MPC. Today I got a complete control Mark II. Okay, but really, what's significant mostly about why I upgraded was mainly for the polyphony. I mean, that's like the number one reason. And then everything sort of after that started to make itself more known, and it started to define really what this piece actually is, especially in comparison to the previous models. So this is super, super fast. Everyone has said this, and I would concur. The load times for my sample key groups are just extremely. It's just crazy. It's really good. The other thing is the growth of the software and the development of the firmware. It started to sort of exceed what the shell was. In other words, the MPCX and the current models before this, you could start seeing the software going one way, and it was no longer embraced the hardware. You could start seeing it moving in another direction, and that becomes more apparent not just with the clip mode specifically, but with how you interact with these modes. Because the goal for me was to try to work within these different modes without really going to a whole different bunch of pages. And so it relies on a bunch of what they call temporary fixed buttons, which you can temporarily fix them to do certain things. And then these, like the touch strip, this is not a throw on by any means. This is actually pretty useful. And then more dedicated buttons so you can stay and work around and get around from these different pages. And believe me, that does make a difference. Um, so overall, this is sort of a more refined, faster, complete machine, and it does everything that the previous one did, but even faster and essentially, and embraces the hardware, embraces the new modes and so forth and so on. So, one of the things I use a lot, I wanted to do a lot, is stay in clip mode without really going out of it to do certain things, and these buttons allow you to do that. So, for example, if I hit Shift, Mode 10, this is going to allow me to not only choose tracks, but also if I hit Shift, I'm allowed to, for example, multi-arm tracks, which is a big deal for keyboard players. And by setting this to track level for now at least, it allows me to adjust levels pretty quick. So that's pretty nice. So if I go on the MKS here, so I've got 3 electric pianos. And an acoustic piano. Okay. And that's really useful for, especially for keyboard players, because we kind of treat this almost like a workstation now, and it's a lot more easier to track like this. So, for example, I use this a lot, which is up in the corner of the little gear. So if I want to record something and I want it 4 bars, I can change it on the fly or leave it like that depending on what I'm recording. So if I have something like this, so for example, I'll record. Okay, so it allows me, and I just pushed it back to 2 bars because I might want to do, some kind of little riff or whatever. And then so I can go into here. See, I can pick these tracks. So I can. This would be 2 bars, for example. And you can still use these pad triggers to get you to somewhere as well, pretty quick. So let's say I'm on this here, and I want to. Now that I'm in the proximity, I can take this dirty voltage, which is the next one, even though the grid is now on, space number 10. But you can see I can get around really, relatively easy. And again, remember this. I can blend that sound in. And then what I would probably do is maybe make this 4 bars or 8 bars. Let's just do 8. So we got all these different loop sections, which is important to know that you have. It's all 8 bars here, 2 bars here, 4 bars here, whatever. But the idea is that as you're starting to progress, you can see I don't really leave this page a whole lot. Again, if I go down to here, now I'm on 1. And now let's just say on here, for example, and here or here, maybe I'll do like a 4-bar phrase. This is a drum track. And so I'm going to hit record and play 4 bars now. So I have these other 2 bars here, and if I, for example, if I like that, I'll just consolidate that without changing anything else, and now this all lives on one bar. So that happened to be a horrible performance, so I'll just delete that. And I can record that again, and now this is set to 4 bars, remember? And I can make several versions of whatever that is. And like I said, getting around on here, this will give me the ability to go to whatever track I need. If I want to layer something, let's just say, let's say this guitar and this guitar, it's done. And if I want to see it, I can nudge the screen independently of this, and there are the 2 tracks right here. And this is done to 4 bars. So I don't like that, so I'll re-record. And this is just like the part where, like, I like the style of recording just seeing if it's going to develop into anything. And then I can go to another idea, and I just hit another cell row like this. And maybe I just go into, I'll do these 3. Transpose this. And then I think it's down to 4 bars, so. And then maybe I take this bar, this drum just for now, copied into this, and then this. What would happen if I launch this row? And so let's take. We'll take this lead sound, this one, and this one. And now I'm going to record into this, in this here. Go an octave higher. If I had that, so this is on 4 bars. This is on 4 bars, okay. So now check this out. Okay, so this is just sort of the cool part about that this machine can finally do what the Force could do, or what Ableton and those kind of, and it's just another tool that you can utilize. And the thing is it's very fast. So let me just show you this real quick. Let's go into main menu, and I'm going to save everything. And I'm going to say project as in here. And we're going to say new folder. We're going to call it sailing, whatever. And I'll call it sail. Watch how fast this saves us to the drive. All the key groups, I got 16 key groups, and a bunch of plugins. Okay, so if I go into browse, let's just do the opposite now. I'll show you. Um, let's load everything. Let's see how fast it loads everything. So it's loading all these key grip instruments samples. And the plugins too, as part of the template. Done. Okay, so the fact is that the hardware buttons and some of the little things that they've added on here, plus the speed, uh, and the polyphony, by the way, that was the real reason. For me, it brings us one step closer to becoming the thing they can do it all. Especially when you can take this, pick it up, use the speaker. Extremely, extremely useful. So anyway, I hope this gave you a little bit of insight. If maybe you're one of those types of musicians like myself, where you want to try to develop a song, and you just want to leave all that other stuff behind, and you want to just concentrate on, one physical form factor, one consistent muscle memory, and how to interact with this device, and the flexibility and extensiveness of the flexibility and the speed. It's all there. So until next time, everyone, peace out.